And this week in this video I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world and how it's impacting people in RVs, motorhomes and vans and all of the above. In other words, people who are travelling or full-time on the road. Hi and welcome back. My name's Fran. I've lived on the road in, well, first a bus and then this truck for 20 years now, and honestly I've never seen anything like what's going on at the moment. My decision has been to stay put because I'm on a property where the owner is a pretty level-headed guy, so I think hopefully it'll be okay. He's a good guy, so I can't see him, kicking me and the other people here out. I'd be very surprised. But one thing that really concerned me yesterday, somebody shared it from a group I belong to, and then I shared it on my Facebook page, because this channel has a Facebook page. So if you want to join that, it's got exactly the same name as my channel, and yeah, I welcome people to it who want to chat and discuss things or have ideas and things like that. But anyway, and it was that the Taupo District Council has chosen to close 3 big freedom camping sites in that district, and their statement said they want people in the camping grounds because they want to look after their own camping ground owners. Okay, but if you jam everybody into a camping ground, they're going to be parked very close, they're going to be using those showers and toilets and shared facilities. That to me is dangerous. If you want people to keep spaces, it's not actually practical at all. I've actually emailed the Taupo District Council and asked them how they see that as a positive move, especially for the older people 65 and up who've maybe sold their home and bought a motorhome, are on the road full time, but health-wise they are vulnerable. And a lot of them live pension to pension. They can't afford a camping ground. It's just not practical. So I think the government can't just, councils can't just decide that we're just going to ignore that we have full-time travellers and just shut things down, because those people need to go somewhere. And where are they going to live? In a car park somewhere? Jammed in somewhere where they can get away with it? Not a good move. I think, some of those areas like Whakamaru Domain, Recreation Reserve, is its proper name, it's huge. And if there were 5 to 8 people over the, winter's coming, it's autumn, or even 20 people parked there over time, each night, not long term, but just, as people move around, they're still going to have bigger spaces between each other than they are going to have in a camping ground. And personally for me, I've been there a few times, and yes, they have new toilets, but I don't use them. I prefer to use my own toilet to public toilets any day. I love my Nature's Head toilet. It doesn't need attending to as often as what I used to have, which was a portaloo. And so it's, I'm not going to run all the way over there to go to the toilet, and especially at the moment. So I think that council's being very narrow-minded. I also saw that the Nelson District Council, or the Nelson City Council, sorry, they keep changing their names, these councils, they're looking at doing the same. There are a lot of itinerant people in that area, and a lot of them can't afford camping ground fees. So where are they going to go? They're going to have to park illegally. It's the only option they have. They have nowhere else to go. And all I want to say is, come on, New Zealand. It's a fact that there are a lot of people who are full-time on the road, and they need to go somewhere. And look, I have family, but I can't get anywhere near their place because it's on a cliff with a wooden parking platform. Can't go there. So not everybody can or has that. Where are they all going to go, if they can't afford the camping grounds? At the moment, because things are slowing down financially, I can't afford to go to a camping ground. I am paying where I am, but it's, a small amount, which is fine. But yeah, pushing everybody into camping grounds, I think that's just a recipe for disaster, actually. I don't see how they can see that that's a good solution. Surely having all the freedom campers spread out is a much, much better idea. We're not going to have more tourists coming in because it's just not happening at the moment. There's a few still here, but they're eventually going to want to go home, I can imagine. There's a few who are stuck here who can't go home because their countries have closed their borders and they can't do it. So they may be stranded here for a while, but they've been here for a while. They haven't newly arrived in general. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm just really, really puzzled by what the councils are doing. I do hope the New Zealand Motor Caravan Association has a chat with them because they are very aware of how many full-time people are on the road in New Zealand. And I think as a body that kind of governs a whole section of people and represents them, I mean, they represent us. I think they need to step up and start talking to these councils and start negotiating some better ways to deal with this because it's just ridiculous closing things like that. Camping grounds, okay, they're private. They can do what they like. Pops, look, if they don't want people coming and going, fine. There's a few who are going to stay open because they have quite a bit of space and they don't necessarily need to have those people in their home. I mean, we are meant to be self-contained, so we don't actually need to go into people's homes or use their facilities or anything like that. So I think as long as we can be self-reliant and, self-contained, look after our own waste, I don't see why there should be issues around freedom camping or any of those things. I think the more logical thing would have been for them to become more lenient on it so that people could disperse and spread out and be safer. Much more sensible, especially at the moment with no more tourists coming in and winter coming. It's much, much more sensible. So, yeah, I'm really, really puzzled at what made them decide that. As to being prepared, okay, I've got a little bit of stock in my cupboards. I've got a bit more rice than I normally carry. But otherwise, I can't hoard. I don't have the space for it. And I don't really want to because I think New Zealand is a food producing country, and I predominantly eat fruits and vegetables, and if they stop selling those, I would be very surprised because they're going to continue to ripen and the people who grow them will continue to harvest them. The variety may change. Like I noticed bananas are very expensive. I bought some yesterday. And I guess that's because they have to be imported and there might be a bit of a supply issue with that, which I understand. But like feijoas, good way to get some fruit, to get some vitamin C in the coming months. Kiwi fruit, really high in vitamin C. Apples, great things to eat. Vegetables, we've got all the brassicas coming on, cabbages, broccoli, kale, all of those things. So carrots, potatoes, we can eat all of that stuff. And New Zealand produces a heck of a lot of meat. So if their overseas export channels aren't working, I think at some point you're going to see more and cheaper at the supermarkets, because it's got to go somewhere. If the stock are still living, I guess they'll just keep them alive till things improve. That makes sense. But if there's stuff already in the process of being processed, then yeah, I think there'll be more for a while. The only time I see a shortage in that is if the farmers go, we're going to hang on to our stock because it's not financially viable to, sell them now. So that's a potential I see. But, one thing that made my day yesterday, I went into Matamata to do my shopping and I pulled into the gas station and the woman who was working there came out and goes, "Aren't you lucky to be living in a house truck right now?" And I went, yeah, I guess, yeah. But for me, it's going to be essential to be able to, live like this. And so it is for many, many others too. So I do hope there will be some kind of sanity around this closing places. It's silly. I do hope the Taupo Council gets back to me. And I do hope that the NZMCA actually gets out there and has some conversations with these councils about what they're doing, because it's actually quite harmful, I think. Forcing people into jamming into camping grounds, or forcing people to pay money they haven't got. You know, freedom campers this time of year now aren't all tourists. It's a lot of Kiwis. You know, a lot of the locals go, ban freedom campers. You know, they're all tourists, and they're not. And quite frankly, what I see happening for Taupo is that their shopkeepers are going to struggle because of this decision, because people are just going to avoid Taupo. I certainly won't bother going there, because it's just going to be difficult and a hassle, and I don't want to. So I'm not going to be going to their supermarket or their local shops or anything like that, or buying fuel there or any of those things. And so a lot of other people aren't going to be doing that. So while they may be looking after their camping ground owners, they won't be looking after the local shops, you know. I mean, Kiwis, yeah, I know when I'm in that area, I usually go and have a coffee somewhere. Sometimes I have something to eat. I certainly buy groceries, diesel, all of those sort of bits and pieces. You know, you still got to live. And, yeah, I do feel, you know, over the years I've followed the whole freedom camping thing in Taupo, and the person who's been complaining about it the most on media, on social media and things like that, is actually the person who owns De Brett's Thermal Resort. He's been wanting to get it banned for years. So I guess he'll be happy, but quite honestly, the people who are now freedom camping are probably not going to come to his resort, because they'll just go, no, that's too expensive, and go elsewhere, go and park up in the Waikato, as the council suggested. If you want a freedom camp, don't stay here, go to the Waikato, which is passing the buck to the Waikato Council. It's pretty, I don't know, it's just really got up my nose, okay? So I'm probably ranting a little bit, but I really think, you know, it's important. So please, if you're in the NZMCA or whatever, try and mention it to them to see if they can maybe, you know, talk to some of these councils who are just panicking and making really silly decisions, because it's not going to benefit anybody in the long run. Having people crammed into little camping grounds isn't going to help anyone to, you know, restrict social contact and things like that. It's just not going to work. So yeah, so those are my thoughts at this point. I'm going to make another video if the council actually responds to me. I emailed them and said that I want to make a video about this issue, and, you know, I'd like to see how they see that that is good for people's health, their decision, and how it will affect the older people over 65s who are full-time in motorhomes on the road on a pension, and how they see that working and benefiting their town and the shops who aren't camping grounds. So yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to get the height right because I've got this on my little tiny tripod. I'm just having a coffee, and I just saw online that Jacinda, our Prime Minister, has decided that we shouldn't do unnecessary travel, which is actually fine by me. I'm not going to try and get out there and travel while all this madness is getting on, and it makes sense not to have people roaming from area to area, you know, because it could potentially spread the thing. And also in iwi in Gisborne, they've decided they're going to close off the area from Opotiki to Gisborne, I think it said. Don't quote me on that. To anybody coming in, camper vans, tourists, weekend fishermen, whatever, they're just going to look after their own. I don't think they have any cases there. So if they do that now, they may be able to just live in their own world and carry on as normal. I had a quick thought of going, oh, what a shame I'm not in Gisborne. I'd get them to adopt me and just live there and have a normal life, you know. But obviously that's not going to happen. But anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening. I just wanted to update this video before I edit it, because things are changing pretty rapidly out there. I'm just hunkering down, My biggest concern is that they don't shut down the testing stations. I don't see how they can, because trucks need COFs and stuff too. So, yeah. But anyway, wherever you are, stay healthy. Believe in yourself. Yeah. Find somewhere good to stay. I don't think it's a really great time to be racing around the country. Yeah. So anyway, lots of love, good health. Take care of yourselves, and see you all next time.